Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting, well-known series, Game of Thrones. So this book, The Art of Game of Thrones, covers all 8 seasons, and I'm sure everyone is familiar with Game of Thrones, but for those who don't know, it's based on a series of books written by George R.R. Martin that are incredibly popular, made into a TV series by HBO, and during the time of airing it had millions of views, was critically acclaimed, and had a very controversial conclusion in the last few seasons, and fans were kind of disappointed with the result, to the point where there was even a petition signed and a desire to have the ending altered. But because the books aren't finished being written, we don't know how the TV show deviates from the original books, if it still followed the same overall structure or not in terms of the major plot points. But what a lot of fans of the books mention is how everything is very meticulously planned by George R. R. Martin, and there's a tremendous amount of foreshadowing and quality and character development, and that hasn't necessarily translated to the same kinds of expectations when it comes to the TV show, which started incredibly strong, but had a few choices made by characters down the road that disappointed fans because they didn't kind of stay true to their character. This is a really big book, so I'm going to be flipping through the pages quickly. It's thick hardcover, and that's the MSRP, 75 USD, 100 Canadian. Now, I got this book for cheaper, and I believe you can as well. So that's, suppose, an advantage of the disappointment that some people had is the popularity kind of dwindled. But I personally still find that this series is incredibly dear to my heart because it had very exciting moments and reveals, and the Mountain and the Viper moment, the moment where Drogon and the Lannister army fought, and myriads of other things along the way. Littlefinger's personality, and a lot of the fan speculation that happened, of course the Red Wedding, and all these other significant moments. The Art of Game of Thrones. Now, there is also a book that has like photos of the actors, and I think the actors are very interesting, but I actually prefer this kind of more hand-drawn art book, which is kind of setting the mood. And that's kind of what this was, because the purpose of this art book was exactly that, to kind of illustrate what kind of directions they wanted to go. So this is the map of Westeros, which is the kingdom where the Game of Thrones takes place. There's also a very nice mouse pad, like a massive one for the board game, that has the map. I use it. The different sigils for the houses, or I guess the kind of symbols for them. There's a lot of descriptions and such, so it's not just art, but there is more to read, and so that's always really nice. I think it's important to, some of these are really rough, really just setting the mood. These aren't the most detailed of paintings, but they help establish what Westeros markets are like. I believe this is the Castle of King's Landing. This is probably, yeah, Winterfell. Winter is coming. So I think despite how you may or may not have felt about the show's conclusion, it's still very important to remember the great aspects of the series and all the incredible effort that went into it, and from the actors and the supporting crew, and of course this doesn't take away from how incredible the book is. So I am one of the people that was disappointed with the ending, but the ending of the TV show. But I still respect the earlier seasons and the original source material. Interesting. I'm just pausing here to see this top view layout. What's the sound? Hopefully that page is okay. Feels like there might be two pages stuck together. No, just kind of a thick, nice and thick page here. It's like the hollow, these the dreadwoods, the trees with faces carved in them. I purchased this because I wanted some kind of representation of Game of Thrones on my shelf, and I figured a book offered a lot more value in terms of information as well as art, more so than maybe like a Game of Thrones figurine or something else, or like a DVD set, because this is just something different. The beautiful thing about art books is, you know, pictures worth 1,000 words, and here you have hundreds of pictures, and it's great for creators that are trying to make their own things, or you know, seek inspiration, whether they're artists or designers or writers, and so they can look at this and kind of get inspired. I really like this page, seeing the different sides of the ship and measurements, and it's a nice one. More of that. Like a nice bookmark. I like how they switch it up between some digital paintings and some writing and some sketches. But it would have been nice for the digital paintings to have a bit more detail and quality. Like, you know, here they didn't even bother getting into the faces, so it's kind of rough. Here there's a little bit more detail, but again, it's both detailed but also plain. The Erie. For some reason, I didn't know that the Erie had this gondola-like contraption. Was this ever even shown in the show? I'm drawing a blank. I thought they got to it from like a path. That's cool. Yeah, like this path, right? And then they went all the way up. And castle that's very well protected. This is very cool, actually. Very cool castle. Oh, this is just like a full-on photograph, it would seem, as reference. This is another nice view here. The King's Road. River Run and Riverlands. More sketches of the interior and plans. When I first watched Game of Thrones, the first episode really didn't captivate me. Not until the very end of the episode. And, you know, at the very beginning it's the White Walkers, and I'm like, oh no, it's just some other cold zombies, you know, big deal. And there really wasn't a lot of development at the beginning. The king comes to King's Landing. Not really spoiling anything because it's right at the beginning there. Harrenhal. So interesting. And so up until a particular moment with Jamie, and I thought, all right, this show's spicy. There's some crazy things going on. So see what happens there. Of course, Bran's fate in the show. Well, not too happy about that, I'd say, either. But this just wasn't the right build-up. I just love reading fan theories, especially as the show was going. Some of the fan theories about what happens to certain characters, like what really could have happened to Littlefinger, or you know, there was of course the whole theories about Jon before things about Jon became apparent, but there were other theories regarding the White Walkers and regarding conclusions and prophecies. Just a lot of interesting stuff, and some of the things the fans came up with are incredibly creative and more compelling than the conclusions in the show. So these are some photos also from the show, but I do like more of the digital art. Would have liked to see more even like hand painted moments, you know. These people are worshipping. Trying to understand. They're on fire, but I believe they were fastened like sacrifices for the Lord of Light. Yeah, they're not like voluntarily on fire. Makes a little more sense. Mining dragon glass, and then the different things there. And this kind of resembles the throne room in Westeros a little bit. More layouts for Dragonstone. Kind of like the Dragonstone set in King's Landing. Just not cover that text in case somebody wanted to read a brief. Yeah, more of the King's Landing castle. So yeah, the concept artists for the show had to produce so much art, like such a big book, and really establish such a massive world. Definitely think Game of Thrones would have done better if they had more episodes and more opportunity to build on some of the ideas they were going for later on. Let me know what you think is the best character. Who's your favorite character? Is that a coin of Joffrey? I'm sure everybody thinks Joffrey is their favorite character, right? The actor did a really good job of portraying a dislikable prince. Definitely one of the most disliked characters. Like a character who you like to dislike because he's just so evil. So that's kind of well done and well acted. Jaime's golden hand. Some of the sword handles. And dragon skulls. These are cool. Yeah, I'd say my favorite character is probably Tyrion. Not necessarily Tyrion toward the end, but Tyrion at his best when he's very witty and making good choices. And he's very much an underdog in terms of the way people view him, the way his own family views him. So it's nice to root for an underdog. And of course, you know, there's some theories about Tyrion's lineage too. Some very interesting fan theories. Could have been a neat direction. But yeah, let me know in the comments who your favorite character is. I think Oberyn's another interesting character, but we didn't see too much development for him. I don't know what these statues are. Statues of the Great Sept. The Faith? Interesting. These digital paintings, very photo-like. Maybe they took a photo of the actors and then did digital painting over them because of how detailed it is. Also, let me know what other Game of Thrones collectibles or art or things that you might have. Anything you recommend getting? Keep checking the pages here because they're kind of thick and sometimes it feels like there's 2 pages when there's 1, which is kind of a nice thing. Did I glimpse over this page too fast? Just return to the phone. But you know, thicker pages are nice because it's more sturdy book. This one's definitely 2 pages, yes. there were interesting theories about Jaime and Cersei and what would happen to them. Fan theories involving Arya. So those were interesting to read about. Huh. This is kind of cool. It's like a ram in a boat that they then use to ram doors. Imagine it. It's so massive. This would have capsized this poor boat. It's way too big for that, but maybe they managed to balance it somehow in a way where it didn't flip that boat. Looks like the Battle of the Bastards, maybe? Yeah, it's the Battle of the Bastards. Casterly Rock. I really like the theme for the Lannisters. And there's a nice cover that Peter Hollins on YouTube did. He's got a few interesting covers for Game of Thrones songs. You should check them out. I think they're pretty good. But The Rains of Castamere is a great song. Hands of Gold is another nice song. I just want to return back to this page. This is really cool. It's almost looks like a fire spirit here. Anyone else feel like they see a face there? But no, maybe it's just me. Probably just a fire. And of course the Queen of Thorns and the stuff she tells to Jaime. What a witty woman. So that was a really good moment for Jaime, but a good moment. Samuel Tully. He's a cool guy. He's a likable character. He did his own thing. There's a theory that he might be the one who wrote the Game of Thrones, the Song of Fire and Ice at the end. So. Look at this fancy chair. For Bran, probably. Bran. Is that Ned? Looks like that might be Ned. So it's a little detail. This. Get into the many-faced god, and I feel like Arya didn't use enough of her teachings. A ton of plot armor too. She got real OP. Interesting with Arya, she's one of those characters that also did wrong, but because she was kind of acting out of revenge, she got away with it. She didn't always have the best moments, I'd say. I don't know. So black and white. Really wish they explored this a lot more. There's a theory that Littlefinger has a connection to the House of Black and White. I really like that theory. There's theories about the outcome of the fight of these two. This is very nice. Okay. Super cool. And the whole concept of the faces is nice and dark. It's interesting. One of the coolest. There's actually a new show being worked on. It's kind of a prequel to Game of Thrones. So for any fans that might be interested in that, it's going to be coming out pretty soon, and George R.R. Martin is involved with that. There's also there's Danny in the middle there. There's also a game, Elden Ring, where George R.R. Martin worked on a lot of the lore. It's a collaboration with FromSoft. It's the new title. That's also going to be coming out soon. So that's another interesting involvement of George R.R. Martin that is worth checking out. So this is definitely not the end of Game of Thrones, even if it's the end of the TV show. There are still things to enjoy, and a very rich world and other worlds. It's kind of a letdown where Dany let go of some of her principles. It's an interesting kind of compartments for the horses to carry like animals, and little cages, dragons. It's supposed to be Drogon? Oh, maybe a different dragon. This book is doing a pretty good job of not spoiling things for the few people who haven't seen Game of Thrones and maybe want to. It's also doing a pretty good job of not having much adult content, so it's more friendly for YouTube. It's also interesting to see the recasting that's happened with Game of Thrones. Like Dany wasn't, Emilia Clarke wasn't the first actress to portray Dany. In the pilot, there was a different actress, and throughout the show, they changed actors along the way, like Gregor Clegane, but other actors as well. This is a nice section. Didn't get visited much in the show, but this is where Jorah and Tyrion, I believe, have their boat ride. Atlantis. On the wall. The wall was kind of an interesting setting, and this kind of mystery to it. Felt fresh, even though there's other fantasy series with walls and all that, but a lot of people like Jon Snow, the character. I think the actor's really good, but Jon Snow felt like, you know, I like that he was noble and righteous like Ned Stark, but Ned I really liked. Jon Snow, I didn't really like him as much. It just, it's hard to describe. Like, there was maybe not the same kind of genuineness, even though he, you know, held his word and cared about honor and cared about doing the right thing. Just something always seemed a little off for me with Jon Snow. It's hard to describe. Of course, like, I rooted for him when he, you know, fought against the White Walkers, but not the most heroic. It was also, you know, interesting to find out about his potential. Children of the Forest. I don't recall this weapon from the show. Maybe they used it. They threw little grenade things. I like the idea of the three-eye raven, and I like the idea of just the potential there. I didn't feel it got utilized properly though in the show. Also the story behind Hodor, that's another excellent moment. So, you know, the show really did have great moments, or the books had great moments, and it's important to remember that. And for people like me who really like, you know, dark fantasy, and there's still not that many great things out there. So when a great series does come along, even through its faults, still really great. There might be a few spoilers here for the ending. Hopefully not. I like that song that they played, Jenny's song in the last season. That also got covered, and was another nice one. It's a nice top view of the battle. Yeah, some of the choices here, people aren't really happy with them. Personally, I do believe that the ultimate endings were ones that George R. R. Martin did decide and did convey to the showrunners. It's just how it got there. Didn't get conveyed properly. Oh, minor camera setback, and we're back. So as I was saying, it's amazing how many people worked on the show, and despite that, there wasn't too much leaked and spoiled, and yeah, they took a ton of precautions and giving out scripts and then having them destroyed immediately and all that kind of stuff. And there were things still leaked, but it was still a surprise. A lot of the major plot developments, so I managed to keep a lot under wraps. It's the same picture that's on the book. I didn't spoil this part. That's good. Oh yes, this moment. Well, not much to say there. That's interesting, the acknowledgements. These are all the concept artists, the art department, the set decorators, construction. Who cared for the set of Game of Thrones? And I think they did a really interesting job and good job. Some of the effects, the Drogon battle, just some really really cool moments. This is the Inside Edition. Not sure what that means. And then there's this here. This is a card that was in here. The World of Game of Thrones. So I believe one of these might be the photography. Yeah, it's the one in the middle here. And this one is costumes. So these are three. This is the book that I got, and I personally am most interested in this concept in digital art. But yeah, those are the other ones. Collect all three books. And what's this? This is the journal candles. I wonder if that's candles in the shape of the eggs. Anyway, that's there. And that's the end. And bit on HBO there, and Deborah Riley. Just open it back up there. You can see the back of the book here. This is it's definitely a heavy book, so shipping is going to be more expensive for it. I'm just closing it back up because it's a little difficult to fold that way. See a little bit of a ding on the cover, but that's fine. The early Game of Thrones. I like how it's even in silver. You can see the title in here. So it's a massive book. And yeah, I just want to point this out as well. This is this bookmark that's part of the book, so you can actually put it there and keep track of where you last were. I think this is a really nice touch to have that. I wish more books had this. Make sure that that's nice there. And there you go. The Art of Game of Thrones. Let me know what you thought. Maybe things that you would have liked to see different in Game of Thrones. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.